So yes, you read the title right. I quit real estate. It wasn't an easy decision. And in this video, I'm going to give you the reasons why, my beliefs, everything that was going through my head at the time. And yes, this was a really hard decision for me to make, but it needed to happen. So what's up, everybody? Again, it's Henry Eisenstein here. Thank you so much for tuning in. In this video, we're talking about exactly why I quit real estate 5 years ago today. There was a key reason why I did this, and a lot of it had to do with my perception on the real estate business. Now let me paint you a picture. There's a lot of realtors in this business who are frustrated. I was one of them 5 years ago. I was frustrated about how much money I was making. I was frustrated about the team that I was on. I was frustrated about the market. I was frustrated about my clients. I was just frustrated about every single aspect of this business. I was on a team. I had a crazy team split, which again, a lot of you may be in there. I wasn't making that much money. And even in that year, I actually ended up selling 38 homes. And I didn't really make a lot of money. Matter of fact, I made less than $40,000 to sell nearly 38 homes. It's kind of insane to think about, but this is just the reality. I'm killing myself making my calls. I was killing myself each and every single day, waking up super early. Let me even just tell you this, right? I'll give you my entire daily routine. I would wake up at 3:58, 3:59 in the morning because me and a good friend of mine heard that Kobe Bryant was waking up at 4 a.m., so we had to beat him. I was at the gym at 4:30, worked out for an hour. Somehow we weren't the first people in the gym. Made no sense, but you know. So then we got to the office by 6:30. From 6:30 to 7, I watched some YouTube videos to kind of get my head in the right space and watch some motivational videos. 7 to 7:15, I would be doing my role plays and go through, a bunch of the scripts that I was going to be reading and reciting that day. By 7:30 in the morning, I was on the phones. Sometimes by 7:45, 8 o'clock in the morning, I had already set 2 or 3 appointments. I was a huge expired focused agent at the time. I did this for the better part of a year. This was not even 2 years in the business. I wasn't even 2 years in the business. I had a coach and I had a mentor, both pretty local people. I'm telling you, I was just so fed up because every time I closed a transaction, and again, I was on a team, every time I closed a transaction, I would make $500, $800, $1,100, $1,500, and I couldn't make that much money per deal. I just thought it was the industry. I thought the industry was terrible. I remember complaining about it all the time. I'm killing myself. I'm working 18-hour days, doing whatever it takes to make sure that I can close a bunch of deals. And again, look, I closed nearly 38 transactions. I think it was like 37.7 units, and I made $39,500. I mean, imagine killing yourself, working 18 hours a day, every single day, doing everything you think you should be doing because that's what your mentors and coaches are telling you to do, and you don't even make 40 grand that year. And I knew that something wasn't right, and I couldn't put my finger on it, but I was like, you know what? The only thing I have left to blame, other than myself, because I didn't want to take responsibility, was the industry. So I was like, that's it. I'm done with real estate. I am finished. So I quit the business. It was a tough decision because I had quit a corporate job. I had quit college specifically for real estate. It was not what I expected. Again, look, I was 2 years into it. I knew I needed to hustle. I wasn't afraid of the work. But 2 years after starting in real estate, I had made, in combination of those 2 years, not even like 70 grand between 2 years. And I was making that at a corporate job. For me, I'm 22 years old, and at the time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start a bunch of different businesses. So I started an e-commerce business, a drop shipping business, a business consulting agency, a marketing agency. I mean, you think of it, I did it, right? So any type of business that you can possibly think of, I started it. And I just wanted to make money, right? I was so money hungry. And I went to a Tony Robbins event. It was one of the best decisions I ever made. And I got into the coaching program at Tony Robbins. And the coach through Tony Robbins was a business coach because I know I needed business coaching. And this is why a lot of my coaching program, and again, if you want to schedule a free consultation, you can schedule one down in the description below. But this is why I coach on business first, and then, real estate kind of not secondary, but like it's business focused because we're building a business. We're not just becoming real estate agents, right? We're building a business. Not a lot of people talk about it in this industry. Like a lot of people just talk about how to make a cold call, which again, we talk about, but it's not all about that. It's much, much more. Because again, if you want to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, you need to teach the business. So my business coach sat me down and he's like, listen, kid, and I'm 23 at the time, right? This is January of 2018. And he's talking to me and he's like, and January 2018, I'm $70,000 in credit card debt. I have like $2,000 in my name, barely. and I have all these different businesses, 50, 580 credit score. I mean, terrible. I mean, I couldn't even make the monthly interest payments because the interest payments were like $5,000 a month. It was ridiculous. And I'm at rock bottom. You know, this is early January. I'm sitting at Panera. That was my office back in the day. And I'm sitting in Panera. I'm having this call with this coach. Because this is like, I put all this on credit cards. This is like $20,000 worth of business coaching. Put on credit cards, and I'm sitting with my coach on the phone, and I'm like upset, frustrated. I have all these different quote unquote businesses, and all I wanted to do was put, you know, serial entrepreneur on my Instagram handle. And I was able to do that. And my coach basically said, listen, I can appreciate where you're at. I appreciate your hustle and wanting to make stuff happen. But at your age, thinking about it, what successful entrepreneur do you know that you've read books about, that you've studied, that had 5 companies when they were 22, 23 years old? I was like, not a single person that I've ever met or ever read about. He said, exactly, and you're most likely not going to be the first. And he goes, hey, Henry, so listen, question for you. How many businesses did they typically have when you were studying about them? I was like, 1, okay. And he's like, on average, how many people, you know, how many years did they probably have, you know, were they in that business? And I was like, somewhere between 10, 20, or 30 years. He's like, okay, well, think about it. If you were just to focus on one thing for 10, 20, or 30 years, don't you think you'd be successful too? And I was like, yeah, without a doubt. He's like, then why are you doing what you're doing? I was like, that's a good question. He's like, okay, so if you had to focus on just one business for the next 10 years, blinders on, what would it be? And in that moment, I knew it was real estate. So the reason why I got back into business was because of my coach. And this was early January, right? And I think it was like the 8th or 9th, because I remember that it was something around January 10th or 11th. I go back to the office that I was at, because I was at Keller Williams at the time. And I go to my Keller Williams office. For whatever reason, it happened to just be like a huge company meeting that day. So it was like 80 agents in that office. I mean, it was a couple hundred agents that worked in the office, but there was like 80, 100 agents in that office that day. And they're doing this award ceremony for agents that for the previous year. And I got award after award after award. I think I ended up with like 4 different sales awards. Most of those things taken, highest sales volume for a single agent. The only award that I didn't get was most commissions generated, right? Or received, but I generated the most commissions, which is funny because I think I did about $15.8 million worth of business volume production, whatever you want to call it, which would have been $300,000 plus in gross commissions at 2%, but I only made like 40 grand. This is a sign if I could tell you one, right? So at that point I was just like, okay, maybe I should be in this industry. Something's telling me I'm in the right place. And I promised myself, I was like, listen, I'm going to put my head down for as long as it takes until I'm freaking successful. And I mean, it took me 3 years to build a 7-figure business. Right before COVID, you know, we were doing $80,000 to $100,000 a month. Listen, I want you to know that, you know, and I was able to, and the coolest part about everything that I learned in that 3-year period of time building a 7-figure real estate business. Once COVID hit and it completely wiped my business out, I was able to go back up to 6 figures a month within, it was like 8 months. Because I went from March and October, in the month of October, I made 135 grand again, right? First time I ever hit that number. So I was able to really build it back up in, I think it was like 6, 7, 8 months. So the skill sets that I learned because I invested in myself were able to get me back to where I needed to be. So what the purpose of this video for you here today is that, listen, the economy does not fear you guys with where the market's going, but the point I'm trying to make with this video is no matter where the market goes, no matter what the future holds, the point that I'm trying to make is that I know most of you are going to go through a point in your life like I have where you're frustrated, you're pissed off, maybe it's the industry, maybe it's you, maybe it's your coach, maybe it's your mentor, maybe it's your brokerage, whatever you're going to blame. What I am here to tell you is when you take 100% responsibility for something and you align with the right people, anything is possible within a short period of time. But you have to invest in yourself. Like I invested in myself. I invested in 3 years. I went through a season of absolute, just relentless work ethic. I'm telling you right now that the next 12 to 18 months, you're going to see a lot of people fall out of the business like I did. Like I left the business. I quit real estate. I truly did. I stopped selling real estate. It was a really weird feeling. I don't want to see that happen to you, which is why I'm making this video. If I had the knowledge that I have today, if I had the guidance and I had the network and I had the people in my life that I have today, back then, I would have never quit the business. Because what I'm here to tell you is that if you give yourself enough time doing the right activities with the right people, anything is possible. So I'm going to leave you with this thought, and I'm going to let you have a fantastic rest of your day. But I am going to tell you this. Thank God I had somebody who believed in me. Thank God I had a coach who was willing to hold my hand through that process and make a very scary decision simple. Because I know what it's like to go through this process alone, or at least feel alone, even though you might have people around you. And thank God I've had the people that I have in my life, because I couldn't imagine not being in the real estate industry. I couldn't imagine not being not having what I have today. I couldn't fathom not being in this business, because this business has given me everything. Freedom to do whatever I want, whenever I want, wherever I want. Booking a trip last minute like I did yesterday to a 5-star hotel to rent, any car that I want, and fly first class and buy tickets for other people first class, and like being able to live a life and book reservations at any restaurant that I want and I care about a price. Like, that's not what I thought life was going to be like 7, 8, 10 years ago. But because of this industry and because of my coaches and because of my mentors, I've been able to create a life like that. And I'm here to show you that if you're aligned with the right people, you don't have to go through the trials and tribulations so many agents will. So other than that, guys, hope you had a fantastic, hope you've been having like a great start to your year. And if you want to make your year even better, make sure you schedule a free consultation with me down below. My team and I really want to support you this year. And by the way, if you have not taken advantage of all the freebies, the content, and all that kind of stuff that we have that we're just giving away for free, getting courses, downloadables, everything, it's in the description down below. So make sure you check that stuff out. Other than that, guys, I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.